Hey beautiful people, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today I'm here to give you guys my first impressions, thoughts on the brand new Monk collection from Fantasy Cosmetica. You guys know Fantasy Cosmetica is one of my absolute favorite indie brands, and I have been waiting for them to give us perfume for a while, because they have released, I think the last two collections didn't have any fragrance. I think they had candles, but I wanted a perfume. One of the things I absolutely love about this brand is their fragrance collection. It gets me every single time. So today we're back with kind of like the original format where we get a palette as well as a complimentary fragrance. So per usual, I'm gonna give you guys all of the product details on both of the products, and then I will give you guys some swatches of this palette on my complexion. We will do a demo. I've got two looks for y'all, and I'll come back at the end to give you guys my final first impression thoughts. All right, let's dive into some product details. Okay, so the Monk palette, again, we have the very similar packaging. They do follow those sort of mythical creatures, which we've seen in the previous palette. This is their 9-pan palette. They have done larger, but this is sort of the standard size. So you have 9 pigmented shades, including 5 mattes, 1 duochrome, 1 multi-chrome, and 2 shimmers. The palette was made in China. It has a 12-month shelf life, and it is vegan, not tested on animals. It also says that this is a pigment palette, which means that they use pressed pigments instead of eyeshadow. So if you do have a sensitivity to that, just take note, because it might, impact your eyes, and they have to disclose that. And lastly, in terms of price, it does retail for $38.99. It is available now. I do have an affiliate code with Fantasy Cosmetica, so if you guys use my name, Jamila, it will save you 10% off of your purchase, and I get a small kickback from it. And all of that helps to support the channel. Anyways, let's talk about the fragrance. So like I said, Fantasy Cosmetica is a brand that for most of their palettes, not all, most of them, they will have a complimentary fragrance. I personally love their fragrances. They have very good lasting power. And to me, they tend to be pretty unique scents, which I appreciate, because I am not like a typical floral gourmand gal. I like things that are a little bit musky, a little bit multi-sex, unisex. And that tend to be somewhat like unique and different. So I've always appreciated the Fantasy Cosmetica fragrances, because I do think that they fall in that vein. So the new fragrance, which is the Monk fragrance, let me tell you guys what the notes are. The top notes of this are cherry blossom, crisp greens, lemon peel, and aloe. The hot notes are matcha tea, rose, marine accord, and muguet. I think that's right. And the base notes are driftwood, sandalwood, and musk. I definitely can get some of that muskiness. I do think that the sort of cherry blossom and that sort of fruity notes peeks through. This is a very spring fragrance, in my opinion. I'm not giving y'all any kind of like fancy opinion here. I am not a fragrance girly, and I don't know how to describe this, but this does make me feel like spring. It does make me feel like I'm in somebody's garden, and I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, that lemon, definitely there. So I've already worn this a couple of times. It does have pretty good lasting power, like all of the Fantasy Cosmetica fragrances, and it smells amazing. It really does. Now, let's talk about price. So I have the 30 milliliter bottle. This does retail for $32.99. You can also get a 10 milliliter option, and that is going to be $16.99. Or you could get the sampler, which I think is like it's $2.29. And lastly, I want to flag that the bottle for their fragrances, all of their bottles are hand painted, so they will look slightly different, but I do think that they're super cute, and you will see the name at the bottom here, so you can differentiate from your other Fantasy Cosmetica fragrances. I have a huge collection, because I really like their fragrances. Whenever I want to smell a little bit different, I go for that. And I was wearing this, you know what, I actually wore this to work last week. And I had a dentist appointment. So, the dental hygienist is all up in your face. And she was like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, it's this fragrance from Fantasy Cosmetica, which is an indie brand. And I had to like break it all the way down for her. But it was really nice that, like she was like, ooh, I like that. Okay, so now that I've given you guys all the product details, let's dive into the demos. And then I'll come back for my final thoughts. Okay, let's start by going into Energy. And we're going to use that as our transition shade. Ooh. Gonna go down into Timeless. I'm trying to keep this somewhat soft. What happened through? You wouldn't survive a mile in my shoes.
you don't like my decisions, oh, you should have seen all my options, my so-called options, yeah.
And then cleaning off my brush, I'm going to go into silliness. Beautiful. I'm going to start by putting that into the outer corner, blending it in. So we have a little bit of like a sunset going on, and I'm gonna actually dig into two shades. So I'm gonna start with this one here called Deflect, and then I actually want to go up to this one here called Flow. Ooh, Deflect and Flow. That is so pretty. Take Deflect, which is the orange. I think orange was pretty much like a couple. Put that right there, and then Flow. Oh, that is stunning. These are literally the shades that I live for. I have a warm undertone, so these are the shades, in my opinion, that look best on my skin tone. I'm just doing the same thing on this side. That's it. That's the look. So let me go ahead, clean this up, and then I'll come back and show you guys the final look. Okay, let's get started with look number 2. I'm gonna go in with Channel, and that's gonna be my transition shade right into the crease. Oh, that's beautiful. I was a little skeptical about some of these warm shades because I have a warm undertone, so sometimes shades like these struggle to show up at all on my skin tone, or to show up clearly enough that you can differentiate between them. Now, do I think all of these are gonna show up like really differently on me? Probably not, but I don't mind that. I do think it would have been nice to have like a light brown, like a medium brown taupey color, because these are all sort of like variations of yellow and orange, and then you have the dark brown, but it would have been nice to have like a light brown option. There's so much that I like, and none of that you feel the same about us. Yeah, but the timing is... And then I'm gonna go into Stillness. This is the only dark shade in the palette. Plopping that into the outer V. Take you by your word, and I'll walk away before it starts to hurt. So let go, let go, let go, and I'll leave it to the universe. Let's leave it to the universe. Okay, I know I have to go back and blend, but let's get the rest of the shimmers on the eye. So we're gonna start with the yellow. That is Strike, and then Flurry. So that's gonna be the combination for today. So we're gonna take Strike. Oh my god, it's stunning. It's like canary yellow. And then Flurry into the inner part. Let go, let go. We've seen us more than friends. Let me just move on, move on. Yeah, it hurts, I won't pretend. I'll take you by your word, and I'll walk away before it starts to hurt. So I'ma let go, let go, let go, and I'll leave it to the universe. Leave it to the universe. Now you know the drill. We're gonna go blend until the gods tell us to stop, and then I'll come back and show you guys the final look. Leave it to the universe. Leave it
just move on, move on. Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Now, this is a palette. If you know me, you know that this is a palette after my own heart. I love warm shadows, and that's primarily because I have a warm skin tone. I have a warm undertone. So these are the shades that I think work really well with my complexion. Now, one thing that I do want to flag is that because I have a warm undertone, sometimes these shades can look a little bit similar on me, but I did think that they were differentiated enough on my skin tone when I tried this palette that it wasn't too repetitive for my taste. What I would have liked to see though is this shade here, if it was just a little bit more of maybe like a neutral brown, because I think we have this nice dark rich brown, and then these are all sort of variations of yellow and orange, and it would have been nice to have like a complementary neutral brown if we wanted to keep it kind of neutral without it being overly orange. In terms of these shimmers though, perfection. I have no notes, just no notes whatsoever. This is a palette after my own dreams. I do think that you have to really like very strong warm tones to like this palette, and if you are into the oranges like I am, this will be a beautiful option for you. As for the fragrance, I already said this at the intro, I love this. I think that it is a great springtime fragrance, and as we're getting to like the end-ish of winter, this is gonna be a really good transition fragrance. There's a really strong sort of lemon grass kind of note there, but there is that hint of muskiness in there that does make this feel a little bit more unisex than it is floral. Again, I'm not into like the overly feminine fragrances. I like things that are a little bit muskier, a little bit more ambiguous. Okay, so as a reminder, if you do decide to pick up any of these products, you can use my affiliate code Jamila. It will save you 10%. I will get a small kickback. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, if you had any questions, comments, thoughts, feedback, leave an orange heart in the description box below. And that's it for me, guys. I am really trying my best to get back into a routine and a schedule that makes sense. And I appreciate you all being patient with me. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.